This conference will now be recorded.
My apologies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's not me, it's Vicky.
Oh, sorry, Vicki.
Sorry. Hey, I'd like to consider sending to consent agenda the scope of work for RFP 22-007, second posting for fire apparatus prevention and maintenance repair service.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion passes then. Thank you.
And we will be prepared in case any counselor pulls it off. Chief Miller and someone from the
So-
staff will be there to.
I do have a quick question, Mike. Do we have to have a second to the motion? Is that a legal situation?
Okay. Is there a second to the motion?
Yes.
Okay, now all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, ma'am.
There are no non-action items, so we'll just jump right into department updates.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, I've asked each of the departments, if we can just go right down the list here, to just give a brief update on their department. I know many of you are very familiar with public safety departments and things, but I thought it'd be just good once a year to let them know or let you know all the different areas. It's more than just the police department. It's more than just a fire department. It's more than just emergency management or dispatch or code enforcement. They do a lot of different functions within those departments. I've asked them to just briefly go through, spend no more than 10 minutes maybe on each one of them. Karen, keep it to 10, please.
I'm like, wow, 10.
Going back real quick, do we need to redo the number 3 since we didn't get a second on the motion?
I had Mr. Spino.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
So Chief, if you would, please.
Yeah, 10 minutes is a long time, Matthew.
Head up to.
Let's go with like 3.
We currently have 7 vacancies as of March 31st. It's in the report here. 7 in the hiring process. We have 5 recruits and 2 PSAs that are moving up. And we run our testing every other week. So just so everyone knows that, we test every other week. That's different from old school. Old school used to be on a list for a year, but times are different now. We're pursuing Kalia. We've moved forward quite a bit where we're looking at probably a little over a year. Back me up on that, DC. As far as having national accreditation will be.
How do you spell that?
Kalia, CALEA. It's an acronym for a Commission for Accreditation of Law Enforcement Agencies. And I hope I got that acronym right. He's looking at me, but anyways, we'll be one of 3 in the state. 2 municipalities and the state police are the only ones who have this distinction. It's pretty rare air. The other thing is we're still pursuing our Rpd Academy, which is a satellite academy here. A little bit of tumult in the past with the director who I was working with, got walked out of the building 2 weeks ago, but I immediately contacted the interim, which is Benjamin Baker, and he said we will not lose a step. So that meeting I should be speaking. I think it's June is the next scheduled meeting, and that's where I'm going to do my piece and hopefully have Dr. Sean Powell, who has graciously allowed us to use his facilities for the best price of all. And we'll see how long that lasts, but it'll be great to get us going. We finally got our new vehicles in, and almost all of them are on the road. So we waited patiently 9 months. We ordered vehicles that were on the lots, hoping we would cut it back, but it went to 9 months because of the supply chain issues. But those are now being deployed with the officers by seniority, and also we gave 2 a treat for being high performers. They got new vehicles as well. And the 3 recent homicides with our underage people, they're under investigation. We have brought some people in, some people of interest. As per usual, our detectives never stopped moving from the moment it happened, and we had people in for questioning the next day. So we'll leave it at that. The press releases will come as we're allowed to move information along.
I do have to give kudos to Alberto Aldana. He went to John Hitchcock's house to get the video from his house in Johnson. He was very professional. Good job.
We have 93 professional people because I'm 94.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to throw out for now, sir.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Miller?
Okay, of course, most everything's in the report. One of the things I kind of wanted to add was this past week in Ruidoso, we had a few headache hiccups. Karen helped us iron all that out and get it straightened out. We did end up sending 2 crews up there basically to help Ruidoso cover the village of Ruidoso during the week, over the course of the weekend. Initially, they were going to cut our guys loose within 48 hours, and then the chief up there decided he really liked having the extra help, wanted them for 2 more days. I said, no problem. However, we did pick out 4 guys to send up there to relieve our guys so they could come home and get a couple of days off. Other than that, it's pretty much business as usual. We've got a lot of irons in the fires right now with our air pack program, our grants that we're using to get those ordered. We're working really hard on locating and looking for some trucks and funding for those trucks to replace the ones that we're starting to wear out.
Staffing.
Staffing, I have to say a word about it. It's looking really good right now. We did lose 3, wasn't it? Yeah, we lost 3 of our recruits during the course of the Recruit Academy. We've got 3 that are passed, tested, and done, so that's a good thing. The others are either just finishing taking their EMT tests and fixing to take their firefighter certification tests. So tentatively, our recruit graduation is scheduled for May 5th. So that's when we're looking at graduating them and hopefully having all of those on shift. And then unfortunately, we'll have to turn around and start making plans for the next one because we've got a list that's pretty long. Only a couple have committed, but we do have a pretty long list of people that are going to be eligible to go ahead and retire. So we're going to try and stay ahead of that, but at the same time, we're having to play it by ear to see who decides they're going and who's not.
Are you lucky enough to have like a backlog of firemen? Are you lucky enough to have a backlog of firemen that are ready to go that aren't hired yet?
No.
Okay.
And unfortunately, that's one of our biggest problems, and I'm sure the PD deals with the same thing. It's hard because we can't just hire them and put them to work. We have to hire them and spend, 16, 18 weeks training them and crossing our fingers they'll pass all the certification tests and to make it to actually getting on the truck and helping us out.
Questions?
I have my handout. So this is just for y'all's information. So I'm Karen Sanders, if you don't know me, the emergency manager. And we have a staff of 2. Myself, I'm the full-time emergency manager. And then Jill Pollock is a part-time emergency manager specialist. So I share her with the fire department. So she does 20 hours with them and 20 hours with me each week. And then Mike is my we call him my number 3. He used to be my number 2, but he got demoted to 3 and he doesn't do a good job. He's 4, 5, 6. Last week, he did my sirens for me when I had a medical emergency and those didn't go so hot. So he got bumped down from 3. No, so I'm lucky to have both Jill and Mike that help me. So my office coordinates all of the emergency management activities for the entire county, for Roswell, Travis County, Dexter, Hagerman, and Lake Arthur. So it's just one office that does that. We do all of the plans. We just finished our hazard mitigation plan. So we're required to have that every 5 years to be eligible for certain funding. We're required to have an emergency operations plan. So we have some funding to redo that. We're required to have a hazard and vulnerability analysis. So we keep all of our planning documents up to date. The majority of my office of emergency management is funded through grants. So the EMPG grant just came out today. That grant pays 50% of my salary and benefits and 25% of Jill's salary and benefits. And then the county picks up a percentage of my salary, benefits, and operating expenses. So this isn't an office that gets a lot of funding through the city. It's mostly grant funded. We do a lot during COVID. We did a ton of resources, ordering and getting PPE through the Department of Health, through DHSEM for all of our hospitals. That was a long 2 years. We recently just finished handing out the COVID test kits. Jill and I gave out 57,000 of those throughout the community. And then we do a lot of training and exercise with our other departments, with the PD, with the fire department. So this year, our biggest exercise will be an exercise with the airport that they're required to have to meet their FAA standards. So we'll do that in the fall. And then like Chief Miller mentioned, we provide resources when other jurisdictions ask for them. So when the Village of Ruidoso said, hey, we need some help, then they coordinate that through the Office of Emergency Management. And then I also do the sirens. If you've heard the sirens, the first Monday at noon, there's 20 sirens in the county. So there's 14 in the city of Roswell, 3 in Dexter, and 2 in Hagerman. And that's it. Do you have any questions?
Are we ever considering getting more sirens?
They're expensive, so.
Well, I'm sure, yeah. Well, it's just up north, I know.
Yeah.
Half the time we don't even.
We put about all the ones that we can through, the city's funded the ones that we have in the city of Roswell paid for those. So we would need the county to maybe, they would mostly be on county property from this point forward because we pretty much covered all of the city property. We do use other ways of notification. So we have a mass notification system where the alert just comes to your phone. So of course, we ask people to have redundant forms of being notified, whether you get the alert on your phone, whether you hear the siren, et cetera.
And the sirens are designed to notify you if you're outside. I'm going to hear them if you're very far away from that siren and inside your home. Many of our phones now will notify us the same, usually before those sirens will go off, you'll get a text on a tornado or
Like
severe
Amber.
weather.
We ran over ours, the one at the base on the 4th of July. So we're in the process of replacing that one. And they're about $35,000 to put back. So we're just waiting for that equipment.
With all the locations, and it actually has circles drawn around them. I think it's a 1 mile radius on each siren. So we have a few places, but not very many that are not covered under that 1 mile radius. But we're always looking, if we find a place that's in the need, we'll.
We're trying, the one that we'd like to put, Lake Arthur doesn't have a siren. So we'll be applying for a mitigation grant for them to put a siren down, and they just need one, but they still would like to have one. So.
Thank you. Consolidated dispatch, Ms. Terry.
Hi, I'm Terry Best. I support the Consolidated Dispatch Center. The registered name is Picos Valley Regional Communications Center. We're currently at 20 personnel. That leaves us with 1 vacancy. I've been working with HR. We've designed an entry-level position, so we're going to be instituting 2 of those. So we'll eventually have 3, but for right now, we technically have 1. I brought my operations coordinator, Ms. Allison Herring, and my quality coordinator, Jennifer Garcia, with me to say hello. Just an overview, with training, we've got 4 that need to go to the State Academy. We're in the same boat as the police department. It's the same venue, but a much shorter academy, but it is through the same. So we'll see how that goes. The biggest thing most recently is we had the software implementation on March 22nd for fire and EMS. The dispatchers went through extensive training in January and February, and we implemented, as I said, March 22nd. It's going very, very well. We delivered baby this morning. I say we because we're a group, but one of our communicators delivered a baby this morning. It's a healthy baby boy. So that's exciting. We are getting ready to implement the police protocols. The go live date for that is September 13th. So we're getting ready to move into another training season with the dispatchers, and they have to take three different classes, I think. 3 different classes, and that's everybody. And then the administrators have to take even more classes than that. So training has been a huge thing for us, and they're tired, but we give them a little bit of break, and we'll start training again soon. We're the same as Karen. We cover the entirety of Chavez County with the 5 police departments and the fire departments and 3 EMS services. And we're the 911 center in the entire county. What else? Oh, we have an advisory board. It's the Picos Valley Regional Communications Advisory Board. It is through the joint house agreement between the county and the city. The city is our fiscal agent, and the county pays a percentage of our expenses, personnel, and operating. We do have state-supported grants, but not to the extent of the emergency management office, but we do get some grants for that. And we are city employees in our house in the county building, so it's kind of, and they've been talking about moving us. We're in a very small area right across from the sheriff's department in the county administration building. We talked to Mac Rogers, who's the facilities director, I think that's his title, at the county, and they are finalizing the contract with the architect to design out Area D, which is on the southwest side of the building. So hopefully that'll be coming in the next couple of years. Questions?
I would refer you to their monthly report. It's always very interesting to me that you look in there in the month of March, they received 5,500 administrative phone calls, 3,100 admin call outs, 3,205 911 calls, 262 landline 911 calls, and voice over VoIP 911 is 121. So they receive thousands of phone calls a month, 24 hours a day in that facility.
We're at about 90,000 administrative calls a year and right about 35,000 per year.
And you'll see Monday when we visit.
And what percentage of those are legitimate versus non-legitimate?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
What percentage of those are legitimate versus non-legitimate?
That's hard to say. Legitimate calls for help is legitimate calls.
And she's not related to me.
No.
You should have started with that.
Just so you know.
My name is Toby. I'm with the code enforcement. Our department consists of code enforcement officers. We got the building inspector there. We have a building inspector, we have a building official, and we have a plumbing inspector, and an electrical inspector. Plus we have our girls that work the front desk. We have 3 girls, our assistants. Our crew right now is fully staffed. Right now, we're working on cleaning up the last year's weeds. I've getting a lot of complaints about it. And once they cut the weeds down, then you can really see the messes on people's houses, so. So we're working on that. We're also working with the homeless problem. Trying to keep an eye on them. We work with the police department. They help us out a lot on that. Right now, we're just forcing any complaint we get in. Right now, there's a lot of tumbleweed problems, the wind. A lot of inoperable vehicles. We're getting a lot of complaints of RVs parking and vacant lots also, people living in them, trying to take care of that. Other than that, just trying to keep an eye on the town, cleaning it up. We also have our community enhancement guy, he's our guy from, works with the people we get from municipal court. And hasn't been real busy, hasn't been. But we use him to clean up alleys and whatever big stuff we can get without having sanitation going to. We try to get it before they do to help them out. And that's about it. Any questions?
Thank you, Toby. The code enforcement does a lot of stuff. You wouldn't believe the amount of calls that they receive. There's in their monthly reports, it has all the business license clerk goes through, business license goes through there. Of course, Mr. Mavers is over community development, which falls, or code enforcement falls underneath that. Very busy group of individuals. It depends on what the time of year is. If we get a lot of rain, their focus may change to the weeds and things like that. If it's very dry, they're trying to take care of fire hazards and things like that because of last year's weeds, like he mentioned now. So they're trying to address those issues before it become more of a life safety type issue. So another good group to go spend some time with if you see what they deal with a lot.
The weeds were bad last year. I mean, they grew like 8 feet tall.
Yeah, they were huge. Mr. Burris, you're up. I saved the best for last.
Oh, absolutely. Hi, buddy. Jim Burris, Animal Control.
I said that because your wife's watching.
Yeah, hi, Mama. Yeah.
She can hear now.
Yeah, she can hear. Yeah. Okay, stand up. So we're in charge of animal control. We pretty much support everybody in the room, along with the rest of the folks in the county. They bring their animals in also. So just briefly, we have like 8 employees right now. We need 1 more for the front desk. And we've kind of moved forward within the department itself. we're writing processes, procedures, intake procedures, and we're in the middle of a whole lot of training. So that's the city officers along with the county officers. We're going to support them also. They're also going to be trained on intake. Right now, a lot of our future goals are going to be both education of the officers and the public, and try to spend a little more energy on working with the rescue groups, volunteers, and getting these animals adopted. So, we'll study the ordinances, make sure that the folks that are giving away free puppies are talked to, and take care of our kennels. So that's pretty much what we're doing right now. We also provide a monthly report.
I include each month, each of these departments monthly reports in the packet, and they're all posted online also. So if anybody wants a monthly report from any of our departments in the city, you just click on that department, whether it be finance, general services, or whatever. Underneath me, I have IT, parks, but they report to different committees. So their monthly reports are at that instead of this one.
Okay.
But they are under my direct report.
You see a couple items in there where we have help PD and other folks prosecute on animal cruelty and different things. The officers are also important to prosecute, so we're increasing that a little bit.
How's the volunteer hunting going?
All right. I mean, we could always use more volunteers, but it's doing okay. And it's kind of neat. We had some support from the newspaper when we flew out some animals. And now the rescue groups are competing with each other. So we're broadening the amount of states we're taking animals. So depending on the size, it's 2 to 8 animals per flight. So what happens is people have paid to get their pilot's license, and then they'll fly down here. The students get flight time to come down here and load up the animals, and off they go. So it's kind of a win-win for us and the students. So trying to spread that out a little bit. It's doing well. It's doing well. We're going to keep after it, though.
I don't know if there's some public.
Any public input?
It's Rita.
Everyone looks at Rita.
Well, I'll close with one thing. I'm very fortunate because I get to work with, we got good employees in the city. But I consider myself fortunate because I get to work with this group of people right here. Our emergency services, our code enforcement department, our dispatchers, fire, police, emergency management, community development, all of them are professionals. They work very hard, and they have been hugely supportive of me, and I am of them also. And they do a great job. Our city's blessed to have these people that are working for them 24 hours a day. So any questions, anything we can do, please know that we're always available to help in any way. Our previous counselors know that, and I want you to know that anything we can do to answer questions or help, we're here to do that.
And thank you, everyone, for your presentations. It's nice meeting a lot of you, too. So, and I'll come see you guys, I guess, Monday. Yeah. So, okay. So our next meeting's May 17th, 2022. Since there's no public participation, we can adjourn.
We're adjourned. 4:59.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Jim, I kind of wanted to know if there's star inmates. Star inmates, yeah.